So this is a real story. I swear I can't make this up. It comes from Sarah's cousin who actually went through this. She was talking to a set of 10-year-old girls about the royal wedding. She said, "Hey guys, did you watch a royal wedding?" And they all went, "No." And they're like, "Well, do you know who Prince Harry is?" And they're like, "No, who's that?" And she's like, "Well, I grew up seeing him on the cover of a lot of magazines, so I guess that's how I know who he is." And they said, without a hint of sarcasm in their voices, "Oh, we don't listen to magazines. Can't make this up." Welcome to Chatting with Casey with your host, Casey Palmer. Hey y'all, welcome to another Chatting with Casey, the podcast that's all about family, fashion, food, and faith, and tech, and travel, and having the kind of conversations I've always been looking to capture for the blog. It's a nice sunny day out here in Toronto. I'm outside while waiting to get my hair cut and trying to make use of my time as best as possible. So I'm recording my podcast. And we're closing in on Father's Day, and that means a lot of exploring men's issues is afoot. Men's health, men's fashion, men's dreams, and men's roles. After realizing the template for masculinity wasn't working so well for the modern man, it opened the door to have the right discussions till the template fit. Men who are allowed to cry, men who are allowed to feel. It's time for men to get themselves a new marketing strategy. And in this episode of Chatting with Casey, we're looking at some aspects of masculinity the world might not consider when it comes to men. The first is being stylish. So we'd met briefly before to tweet up for those of you who remember what Toronto's digital scene looked like just 5 years ago. But a mutual friend reconnected me with Gloria Chick, fashion blogger, globetrotter, and most recently the creator of a fashionable travel accessory called the Flight Pack. Too often, dads get a nasty rap for being slobs, like we completely let ourselves go as soon as a baby comes along. And sure, life gets tougher when you're not sleeping and eating your children's scraps so that you're not wasting the food. But it doesn't mean you need to sacrifice everything for the sake of your kids, like your sense of style. I recently caught up with Gloria for an impromptu interview at the Poet Cafe where she was introducing the Flight Pack to a number of creators around town. And coincidentally, it turns out that the poet also makes a very delicious iced turmeric latte. I suggest you check it out because you can't really find that almost anywhere in this town. Here's what Gloria had to say. Hey guys, I'm here with Gloria Chick, the founder, inventor, innovator behind the Flight Pack. I'm going to let her tell her story for herself, but welcome, Gloria. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well, and I'm pretty excited. I think excited is a very big buzzword. I'm very eager.
Eager's good.
Eager.
They're both good words. There's a lot of good E-words out there.
E-words.
Effective, efficient.
Escapism.
Effervescence.
Yes.
So I am here in one of Gloria's favorite spots, I believe. I believe it's called the Poet.
Yes, it is.
King Jesus Jarvis here in Toronto.
Hello, Toronto. Yeah, they've got such a lovely environment and good food. So come for the coffee and food. No plug, no spawns, just like it.
No, I told them I wasn't big on coffee, and they actually hit me up with an iced turmeric latte, which is delicious. So I was really surprised and pleasantly so. So big up, come visit. It's awesome. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Gloria and her awesome journey towards the Flight Pack, which is, I'm not going to take your words for you, but if you don't know it, it's basically it's the way to travel. You don't have to have like massive suitcases and everything. And as they know, with all the extra flight costs and everything and luggage costs, you don't want to be that guy anyway. So Gloria, can you tell us what inspired you to create the Flight Pack in the first place?
Yeah, a lot of things. I think for my whole professional career, I never did anything that was tangible. But that sounds really awful. I never made a
you're
thing.
in the digital world, right?
Yeah. So
different.
my whole career was in digital services, digital marketing, strategy, planning. But then at the end of the day, you're like, what is the thing? Like what? It's such especially in this day and age, minimalism is so celebrated. So it's really about like how I live my life as well, and how a lot of people are starting to veer towards not mass consumerism and really just enjoying and editing and experiencing their lives and having the things that they love around them. So the Flight Pack itself is a minimal modular bag and it's vegan. So it's not leather, but not trading off any of the sexiness, hopefully, or I don't think so. And it's really about celebrating rogue stories, like building rogue stories and being able to go out in the world and feeling secure, like you can feel like yourself and the best version of yourself. And I really want to encourage people to go and see the world and do that. And so, yeah, I mean, it starts with a product, but it's really about a narrative of who we are and how we become global.
Very cool. And for those of us who don't know you, I mean, you were a travel blogger before, right?
Yeah.
Or would you call yourself a travel blogger, or would you say it's more complex and more complicated than that?
I did a lot of fashion blogging, a lot of lifestyle writing for big properties and my own. And I kind of went through my own personal evolution, and maybe we'll get into that eventually. But I was traveling a lot for work and working in digital content and strategy. I love travel. It's like not even just, I always felt like travel was a piece, it was a pivotal piece of my life where it would trigger in key moments in my life. I would go to Japan or I would go to Bahamas or whatever it was. And I always carry with me those memories and experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
and I document those.
No, it's good. I mean, I'm big into documenting things because one day my kids are going to have questions about their childhood and things they've done, places they've been, and how that all came together. And I figure who better to tell the story than someone who's actually there living it with them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really big on documenting and getting things out there so that they can relive those experiences later on. Even if they don't really care about it now, they will.
It's kind of selfish, right? It's like we're doing it for ourselves, but like legacy. Legacy is a big word that a lot of people are. I'm not going to
admit to that or tell anyone in my house that.
It was for you.
It was all for you.
Obviously.
All of it.
So that's really good. No, thanks for having me. Be able to share this.
Thanks for being able to randomly and spontaneously jump on my podcast.
Yeah, that's what travel is.
I literally just ambushed Gloria with all the equipment out of my bag. I'm like, I can do this right now. Let's go.
Yes.
We're good.
We're good. We're good.
So I think we met back in what? I want to say 2012, maybe 2013.
Oh, we met at a tweet up.
Yeah, you were with Lenny Laurier.
Oh, shout out to Lenny.
An old friend of mine. It's funny, I'm mentioning him because I mentioned him in my first podcast.
Really? Why's that?
Because I don't know if you ever met his friend Aaron. But he's another friend of mine. They were friends together in university, and Lenny came to mind as I was talking about Aaron and talking about the past and everything. And now I see you, and I'm like, oh yeah, wait, Lenny, what?
We call him Hollywood sometimes.
Nice. Ropes. I remember way back. I don't know if I still have it, but I know that back in the Urban Rice days.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
I wasn't around for that, but I saw the aftermath.
Oh man, I definitely copped a T-shirt or two, Baby Blue, back when Baby Blue was the color.
Was this in the 90s or early 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Oh my gosh.
When Baby Blue was the color for Toronto for a good while there, because obviously Baby Blue Sound Crew.
Yes.
But
yes.
It was a magical time for the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I will stop diverting from the path here. So
hey, I love it.
The Flight Pack. Why do you think everyone should have one? That's really good. It's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I feel like it's the kind of product where if people really wrap their heads around it and understand the benefits of it, it can go beyond one type of person who has it.
Yes.
I think anyone who's hitting up a plane, train, or automobile can probably benefit from it.
Cool.
So,
do you say plane, train, or automobile? I like.
Totally did. Totally.
I think flight is a very abstract thing too, because it's not necessarily just for travel, right? I think I want people to feel powerful when they have this essentials kit. So it's modular, meaning that you can kind of take pieces out. There's magnet components in it, so you can kind of pull out what you need or put in what you need, and it comes complete with a silicone set of bottles that are leak-proof, TSA friendly. So I really wanted to make it something that took a lot of that initial pain point thinking out of it. So it's minimal. It's really about editing down your experience, not carrying the whole world on your shoulders.
Okay,
it's really
cool.
to enable you to go and see
Gotcha.
the whole world. And I think it's unisex. It's not, I think it's unisex. It is unisex. And it has a universal appeal to it because I think it's really aesthetically driven. It's design oriented. And yeah, I think everyone should have it because I think it's great looking and it works well.
Well, you're passionate about it, right? It's something that I've seen over the past few months as you put together the Kickstarter, as you start getting it out to people, how much you're behind the products. Like, it's very evident that it's something you believe is useful to others and that it will elevate their state of being rather than being something extra to carry with them, which I think is key because we have you're talking about the minimalist aspect of it and the fact that we just have so much stuff.
Yes.
There's so much in our houses or homes or stuff, so much that we feel like we have to take with us whenever we're out somewhere just in case and stuff like that. So I feel like there's almost a very refreshing approach to it instead of it being like, here's another gimmick or something like that, which is really cool.
Here's an Instagram product.
Oh, Insta.
It doesn't whiten your teeth.
It carries your stuff, but carries it well. Carries the stuff you're actually going to need.
Exactly.
So you're having people over today to kind of talk about the flight pack and everything, of I guess how it will enhance their lives. Do you want to tell me about that at all?
About today's happenings?
What went down today? I came and saw some
cool
Insta
personalities.
luminaries
Ooh.
from the city where I'm just like, oh, I've seen
I like
you.
your
I've seen your stuff.
vocabulary. Hey.
I write a lot, like a ton, so much.
Yeah. So it was just inviting a really curated set of people that haven't seen it in person, that are all kind of walks of life to experience the flight pack. And I think it's kind of funny because you're so close to a product, sometimes you don't know what it can do and how people can make it their own. And people trigger ideas in you when you show them different pieces. So someone told me that, one part of it, she would actually almost want to use it as a pillow. I'm like, that is effing creative. I'm like, yeah, it is creative. I like you. Come back and tell me more. So it was just a really intimate gathering of people that hadn't seen it before that I think could really make it their own and benefit from it.
Very cool. And the future. I'll finish on that point so you can actually get to eating your snack because I know you've probably been on the go. Meal.
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm a dad of 2 boys. I'm used to eating my food plus theirs.
Yes.
Because they don't finish everything. So yeah, snack. But it's good. It's good.
It's a hefty snack. I like that.
It's good. So the flight pack and your passions behind the flight pack, where do you see it? Where do you see it going in the future? Where do you see it taking you? What do you see I guess as the next step as a result of all the time, energy, and effort you've put into the flight pack right now?
I think it's about connecting the dots. So it's the first step of a big journey of creating an experience for people who are going out to live experiences. So, kind of the parent naming of everything was Rogue Stories, or is Rogue Stories. And Rogue Stories to me is things being different because you decide to be different and challenging yourself on an ongoing basis, whether it's walking down the street and then choosing to go left because you haven't gone down that street before and seen the things that street offers. So the flight pack is that first piece. I want to do other things that enhance experiences and iterate. And, it looks great, but how do we make it perform even better? How do we make it touch more lives? And that's why I'm so appreciative of being able to share that message with the KCP people. Because it's people being able to make something their own. That's the biggest part. It's not, it starts with an idea, and hopefully you can get on board with the idea and the way that it's been designed and created. But how are you going to make this your idea and your experience and your joy? And I don't know, seeing it go to places like Iceland and Nairobi and New York, and people using it for their makeup kit for dance in Toronto, or I'm just really touched, and it's not lost on me to know that it's traveling the world without me. That's almost like
don't leave me.
Don't leave. It's it's a privilege to be on these journeys with people and
Very
not
dope.
even know about it and find out about it after, and it's incredible. So
Very cool.
I have been learning so much through that process, and learn like the more that you learn about what you don't know is the more you learn again.
It's true.
And it just opens up more and more and more, and you just figure out that you'll never learn enough. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
I'm behind a lot of that messaging for sure. Life is an experience and exploration at the same time, and the more you recognize that and the more you're willing to take that on, I find the better life will be for sure. Cool.
Yeah, I don't want people to just feel like, oh, I can only have that if I'm this cool,
Right.
hip, urban traveler.
Nothing wrong with cool, hip, urban travelers.
Hey, I wanna
though.
be that.
We like you guys. Yeah, definitely.
when I grow up. But it's really about accessibility and, yeah, creating an experience for yourself. You can do that in any which way.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate
you.
it. And I'm going, so what's going to happen next is definitely going to put in the show notes a link over to the flight pack so people can check it out
Wink,
for themselves.
wink. Yeah.
And probably you'll see it in my Father's Day wrap up coming soon because, getting your dad boring ties and old sweaters and stuff like that might not be the best choice. I'm just saying.
Because Casey is cool travel dad.
That's the goal. Anyway, try to give my boys a good standard to work to. I'm like, you could wear that bummy sweater or you could go fly over here and be cool like your dad does. But we'll see. It's a work in progress.
We all are.
This is true.
We all
Oh, this got deep. This got deep.
I know, too deep, too fast. Sorry.
No, there's no such thing. It's good. It's cool.
If you want, people spitting wisdom as they're walking down the street, that's probably going to be us.
That's going to be like everything that we should do all the time. Cool. Well, thank you, Gloria. And
Pleasure.
we'll be in touch as we always are.
Hey.
Holla, holla.
On the
All
internet.
right. Later.
Thanks.
The problem with oversimplifying what it means to be a dad is that everyone's fatherhood journey is so different from one another. A parent in the country will have very different concerns than the ones I do raising my kids in North America's fourth largest city. And I don't think parents of children with one race will worry about their kids figuring out their identity as much as I do, like every day. What are they going to identify with? I don't know. But one of the most challenging journeys a dad can take is as the father to an ailing child. With Father's Day coming up and a fundraising effort afoot, the Children's Wish Foundation of Canada reached out to see if there's anything I could do to help promote their cause. So I did what anyone with a new podcast would do and scheduled a call with one of their wish dads who's living the experience firsthand so I could better understand a fatherhood journey that isn't my own. It's really easy to forget while living our lives that there are very real human impacts behind the charities and organizations that seek our support. And I hope this conversation will help you think a little differently and maybe lend an ear for a second the next time a canvasser comes knocking at your door. Let's hear what Chris has to say.
So I'm here on the phone with Chris, who is connected to the Children's Wish Foundation of Canada by having a son who made a wonderful wish of going down to meet Mickey at Disney World. And yeah, we're going to talk to him today about why it's important to support a foundation like the Children's Wish Foundation and what it means to him. So Chris, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Casey. Thanks for having me on and supporting the Children's Wish Foundation. It's near and dear to my heart, and I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for being with us. I think you have a lot to say about it, so I'll kind of just go from there. So who are you? What do you do? And, what are things like up there in the Aurora Newmarket area?
Okay, well, my name's Chris, and I'm a dad, and I also work with the fire department. And, we just live a simple life and have one child. Cole doesn't have any siblings. And when he was 15 months old, it just kind of, our world changed. And, we just started kind of living the unknown. So it's been quite a ride the past almost 3 years. And here we are today.
And when did the Children's Wish Foundation kind of come into your life as part of, who you guys are, what you do, and what you support?
Okay, well, the Children's Wish Foundation, they grant heartfelt wishes to boys and girls with critical life illnesses from the age of 3 to 17. So we first heard about them when Cole was about 2 years old. but he was too young to participate in any kind of wish events and that because of his age. And then we carried on in a hospital setting, through till he was 3 years old. And at that time, our social worker told us that he'd reached the age of being involved with the Children's Wish Foundation and that he was eligible for a wish. And at the time, his health wasn't fantastic. So his mom and I, we had to make a decision on kind of what we were going to do, if we were going to, put it off and continue with treatments and hospital settings, or if we were going to give him a break and let him meet Mickey, which was his wish, which changed our whole world. Like it changed everything. And we made the tough decision that it was time to, give him a bit of a break and have a wish and go and meet Mickey, which is something that would not have been possible without the Children's Wish Foundation.
And how did he come up with his wish of meeting Mickey?
Well, it was a bit of a process, I guess you could say. It kind of started when he was 2, when we kind of heard about the Children's Wish Foundation. We were kind of in that Mickey Mouse phase, and he also really loved safaris and big game animals, like elephants and stuff like that. And we visited the zoo quite frequently. So he kind of was leading along that lines of meeting, safari animals or Mickey Mouse or something like that. And Disney kind of had the best of both worlds. So it worked out really, really well.
Very cool. I haven't been in Disney World yet. It's actually been on my list for a very long time, and I just haven't managed to pull it off. For context, my kids are 4 and 2, and it's kind of encouraging to hear that Cole really connected with that experience, because a lot of people will say that it's the kind of thing that a kid won't really take with them or experience the most from it unless they're of a certain age, yada yada yada. But to hear that it really had a positive impact, it was something that he just really enjoyed, is super encouraging.
Yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity. I will say, he was 3, just over 3 when we went, and the ride aspect of Disney wasn't maybe perfect for us. There were a lot of rides he could go on, but meeting the characters, and when you're a Wish kid, things are a little bit different for you at Disney than the average person that goes to Disney. And that's one of the very many, many things that make this sort of a wish so extraordinary, is that you get what's called a Genie Pass when you're a Wish kid, and that gives you some special treatment with meeting the characters and getting on the rides a little bit faster, because obviously the kids are usually, or not all the time, but sometimes they can be ill, and it can be a lot for them to stand in the lines and stuff. So being able to kind of expedite that process is helpful in our situation. But meeting the characters was by far Cole's most memorable experiences, and we have a lot of photographs of it, and he, to this day, loves flipping through the photographs and remembering, all the different experiences there. And it really, it was kind of a dark time for us, and it brought a light about it was an incredible experience. Like I say, a lot of times when people ask me about it, you can't ever measure what a wish can do in a medical or scientific way. But when you live it, the power that a wish has, the ability that it has to just lift spirits and re-energize, I guess, is the best word to use. These kids and even the whole family unit. It's just an incredible experience. And in our scenario, it brought back the fight in Cole, and he actually improved while we were there.
Oh, wow.
And being away from the treatment. So it was an incredible, magical experience for sure.
Well, that's amazing to hear. I think people really underestimate how much one's environment and experiences can shape, how we're feeling, thinking, and how we respond to things. So it's really good to hear that it was, such a profound moment and experience that it lifted spirits because it can be hard going through a lot of things, a lot of the illnesses that come with kids who go through the Children's Wish Foundation and whatnot. So that's at least great to hear in that regard. So do you guys have like a large community of help around you and whatnot when it comes to kind of living life? Because I know that even as a dad with a job and other interests and raising the two kids and everything, I know that I probably wouldn't be able to keep two thoughts together if I didn't have several other communities and networks around me. Is it the same for you guys up there, or are you kind of just like flying solo and hoping for the best? Or
there is definitely a ton of help available, and I mean, you kind of figure out as you go what kind of help you need and what kind of help you want. And for us, our family unit has been an incredible source of strength and community, I guess you could say. We have fantastic neighbors. We have like our immediate little kind of community for us, for Laura and I, is what works for us, and that's how we manage it. But for sure, we've been given lots of opportunity to seek tons of other help. And we have, at the beginning of our journey, my coworkers and our friends and everything, they set up like GoFundMe's and they really helped us out. They cooked us tons of meals and put them in a freezer and put it in our basement for us. Like when we were down in the hospital for weeks on end, they came together. Like it was incredible. And it was just humbling, I guess. It was, it's been a ride.
I know, I can only imagine. I guess a good thing to figure out and to be able to tell everyone is how can someone like me, a dad who doesn't have kids going through the Children's Wish Foundation, how can I support and what can I do to really help the program advance and continue to go on and things like that?
Well, the Children's Wish Foundation, they do hold events throughout the year. They help hold fundraisers all the time. Lots of people will hold a fundraiser and donate their proceeds to the Children's Wish. They also have a website where you can go on at childrenswish.ca and donate anytime. Or sometimes, the best donation can sometimes be volunteerism and volunteer your time at one of their events and, help make it successful and help it grow and get bigger and better all the time. Because they are funded by like charity, and they're a very needed foundation because the work they do is incredible, and they came from very humble, small beginnings, and they've turned into an incredible organization. I believe they just granted over their 25,000th wish last year. Yeah, and I think 84, 85 is kind of when they were. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's kind of when they started.
Okay.
They started their foundation, so they've really outdone themselves, and they're just a wonderful community themselves, and they've really adopted us as family, as I think they do for all their wish children. That once you're part of their organization, you become family, and you're with them for the long haul. So,
well, that's a good point. I mean, I find. Just, from conjecture and speaking with people, that people kind of feel charitied out at times. And I'm over, in downtown Toronto, where you have a number of representatives on the street who want to talk to you and explain to you why their charity is important and things like that. But what we often forget are the human stories behind it, the very real impacts of, those receiving the services and those whose lives are impacted by people being generous enough to, go out and donate time and resources to make sure that organizations like the Children's Wish Foundation can exist and continue to do the work they're trying to do. So I'm hoping that, I'm putting this together and making sure to include it in blog posts, sharing it out and everything so that we can let more people know that, it's more than just numbers. It's more than just balance sheets and things at the end of the year trying to show how much can be done. There are very real, familial units and individuals who are strongly impacted by these efforts, and we need to keep the good work going.
Absolutely. You said it perfectly. I mean, with the children, I mean, it's children, right? Like it's critically ill children. How could you possibly have a better, charity than that? And as a family, it's been life-changing for us and continues to be life-changing for us. And we want to give back as much as we can as well. And I think probably if you pulled Children's Wish families on a whole, you would find out the majority, once they're unfortunately part of such an organization, they want to give back and make sure it becomes bigger and better for other kids, because it's just an incredible organization. Like I can't even put into words how incredible the organization is and how important they are.
Not everything has words that can be clearly associated with it. Some things you just know in the core of your being. Like if it's a good thing, right thing, you know it through your
That's correct.
Every cell in your body.
And absolutely.
I'll bother you with one more question then. I have you mentioned that once you become connected to the Children's Wish Foundation, you become like a family. So do you get to meet other parents, and do you get to keep in touch with other parents whose kids are also connected to the foundation? Is it something that's at larger than, a like small like town or city scale? I'm thinking like national or international, things like that.
Well, it's definitely on a national scale, the Children's Wish Foundation. I can say on a little more local scale, I mean, once you become part of the Children's Wish family, you get invited to fundraising events and like big event galas. Cole was recently a superhero ambassador for their Princess and Superhero Party, which was held downtown Toronto, which was a big fundraiser. And it was just another incredible experience. And at those events and different things, you meet obviously way more families. And through the power of social media and Facebook and Instagram, and, you start to get connected with these families. And, they have tough battles of their own. And it's nice to know sometimes you're not alone. And if you can help out another family, because maybe they're, newer into their roads that they're going down, and we've kind of a little more experience, then, we were all there once, and it goes on, and it's so much larger than just a wish. It becomes a family.
Fair enough. All right, Chris. Well, thank you for your time. I don't want to use up your entire day with talking about this, though we could go on for a while. And
absolutely, but
I'll make sure to share the good word and get the message out. But I do thank you so much for your time. And happy Father's Day in advance. I hope it goes well, and may things, one day at a time.
Well, thank you very much. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. Have a good day.
You as well. All right, guys, and that was Chris again with his son Cole, who's going through the Children's Wish Foundation, and they had an excellent trip down to Disney. And make sure you go and support, because there's lots of good work they're doing. I'll make sure to put a few links in the blog post associated with it in the show notes, and I hope that you will go forth and be of service. All right, guys, thanks a lot. And that's it for this week's Chatting with Casey, as I hang up the mic and get back to writing my little heart out. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode as we tried to venture to some other aspects of fatherhood and masculinity, and we'll pick up the pace again next week with what I think is probably one of my favorite interviews yet, with my friend Drekken Pones, a man you can love or hate but never ignore. We'll also be chatting with Jemmy Robles about co-parenting in unique circumstances. For now, though, I'd like to wish a very happy Father's Day to all my fellow dads out there. I hope you get to spend your Sunday doing something you love. And till then, stay up, y'all, and don't forget to like, rate, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you heard. Until next week, bye-bye.